Hey leaders, today I want to talk to you about the leadership tool of the Freedom Compass. The Freedom Compass is a tool that you can use to really understand how you can match your passions with your proficiencies to make sure that you are maximizing your effort as a leader. So what does that look like? For all of us, whether it's any activity or responsibility that we have a certain level of passion for that, which just means how interested are we, how motivated are we by that particular task or particular responsibility. And then we also have our proficiency. Actually, how good are we at doing that responsibility or that particular task? The idea is that at the end of the day, we want to try to maximize our efforts by focusing our time on things that both are things that we're highly passionate about and we're highly proficient on. That makes a lot of sense, right? We want to spend our time doing the things that we really enjoy doing and that we're really good at doing. Right? And if we can find those type of things, that's really our sweet spot. But unfortunately, we often find ourselves in a mixture of other things. And so let's talk about what those other areas are and really how do we push things back towards what we would call our desire zone. Our desire zone is where we are passionate about things that we're doing and we're very good and proficient at the things that we're doing. Okay. Now, zone number 2 will be what we call the distraction zone. These are things that we're really passionate about doing, but maybe we're not very proficient at. That means that we love doing it, but we're really not good at it. If we're not careful, oftentimes these things can become a distraction for us, right? They're things that take up our time because we have to spend a lot of time to make it right because we're not very good at it, but we love doing it. For me, a great example of that might be like things like video editing. I love making videos and I love teaching people through videos, but I'm not an expert on video editing. So sometimes it can take a lot more time for me to make videos or edit videos. And if I'm not careful, that can become a distraction for me. Now, over the years, what you can do to move that into a desire zone is sometimes you can develop the things that you're not very proficient at. And so for me, over the years, I've learned to develop some of my video editing skills. So now it has become something that I'm more in my desire zone. It's something that I'm passionate about and I've also become proficient on. Now, on zone number 3, this is what we would call the disinterest zone. Now, these are things maybe that you're very proficient at, but you're not very passionate about. Maybe it's something that you're really good at doing in the business, but actually you don't really enjoy doing it that much. And sometimes that can be a very disinterested zone that you get asked to do it a lot, but you actually realize like, oh, maybe I'm not very passionate about it. Maybe it's not something I really enjoy doing. So what is the key learning in these situations is that you want to be able to develop those things that you're proficient at and not passionate about. How do you develop a passion for those things? Maybe it's a passion that you realize that if I become passionate about these things, it's really where I can create a niche for myself in the business. Maybe it's an opportunity for me to grow and develop in the business. Maybe it's an opportunity for me just to make a bigger influence in those around me, right? You begin to figure out how can I get passionate about these particular items, right? And so that's something that you have to really work on to grow that into the desire zone. But sometimes there are some of these items and these tasks that both fall into our area buckets where we're not very proficient at it and we're also not very passionate about it. These are what we would call things in our drudgery zone, right? Oh man, we're not very good at it and we aren't really excited about doing it. And these are our drudgery zone. And if we spend too much time doing tasks in our drudgery zone, it will wear us out, it will burn us out. And so some tactics that you can, not all the time can you avoid doing things in your drudgery zone. Sometimes that's what the job requires you to do. Sometimes it's just part of being a leader. You have to do things that you don't really like and you're not really great at, but it's just part of the role. Well, here's 3 simple tips to deal with things in your drudgery zone that might help. The first thing is to delegate it, right? If you're in a position of leadership that you're able to delegate, it's find people who are passionate and proficient on the things that you're not passionate and proficient on. And so you can delegate those responsibilities to people who actually would love doing it and are really good at doing it. Right? One of the things you could also do is you could automate it. There's a lot of things that we do in our business that maybe could be automated, that they're tasks that are really hard to do. You don't really enjoy doing them, but maybe you can figure out a way to automate it so you don't have to do as much work and it makes it a lot simpler to do. Or the third thing you could do is you can eliminate it. Sometimes we have to look at the tasks that we're doing that maybe we don't enjoy doing and aren't, that we're not really good in, and maybe ask the question, is this something that we still need to be doing? A lot of times we do things that maybe don't need to be done anymore, but we're always accustomed to doing it over and over because that's all we've known to do. And that's the times where we might have to eliminate it. Now, you can't just go eliminate anything that you want. Sometimes you need to talk to other stakeholders, to other leaders to make sure it makes sense. But sometimes just thinking about that helps other people to realize, you know what, maybe that's something we shouldn't be doing anymore. And you can bring up a good idea of how we can do something a little bit differently. So again, that is the freedom compass. The goal at the end of the day, focus your efforts as much as you can on the things that you're passionate about and you're proficient about. And when you have the opportunity to grow your passions or proficiencies in certain areas, to move them into your desire zone. And then again, worst case scenario, there's something that you're not passionate and not proficient on, but you have to do anyways, try to do one of these three tactics: delegate it, automate it, or eliminate it. So I hope that is a great leadership tool that you can put into your leadership tool belt. Thank you all for your leadership at Chick-fil-A and all that you do.